Welcome to the Across the Bar podcast. I'm Peter Raybar.
And I'm Laura Brownstein. And it is a gorgeous summer day right now in New York. It's like balmy, 75 degrees.
Yeah, it's a
Breezy.
great day. If you're not a CEO who's been caught on a fan cam with your mistress, and if
Great
you're
day
not
for
in
every one
the,
of those two people.
yeah, and if you're not in the Epstein birthday book, otherwise it's a great
So
day.
for both of us, it's a great day.
Yeah, we win.
We win. All right, we'll come back. There's so many things about the poor Coldplay couple, but how many threads would you say, how many different group chats do you have going about it right now?
So many, because this hits so many of my rules. First of all, as an employment lawyer, but also
We're coming back to the rules.
yeah, we'll come back to the rules. But it's just such a blatant example, and anytime there's video, it's going to make a story even more appealing. So young people, old people, everybody's talking about it.
Those poor people are just waiting for their 15 minutes to end as soon as possible. But okay, so we're going to talk about that, the Coldplay couple, those poor people, which would not have been as bad if she wasn't his head of HR. And then one of my favorite topics are 4-day work weeks actually finally going to take hold again. Finally, how many pages should your resume be in the world of AI resume readers? And sabbaticals, which sounds delightful to have a sabbatical.
Yeah, I'd love to have one.
Perfect for summer. Have you ever taken a sabbatical?
No, I wish.
Wow.
People accuse me of taking a lot of vacation, but I'm totally
I've
fine with
never
that.
taken a paid sabbatical.
Never taken a sabbatical. Never taken a paid sabbatical. That's for sure.
I mean, so tech companies like Facebook used to have that, like every so many years, you got to take off 6 weeks and you had to do it. I think what's important is for companies to say you have to do it. Otherwise, you just sort of put it off.
Well, they definitely offer it as a perk, and there's usually some rules around it, like related to length of service, how long you have to be at a particular company in order to take it, and then how much notice you have to provide and how long it could be. I mean, it is an excellent
company
perk.
offers it and they encourage it. Is it a good idea to take it, do you think?
I think it is a good idea to take it. Of course, you always have to assess your own company's culture. I mean, there are definitely benefits that are offered that probably they don't want you to take. Earning a sabbatical.
we talked about the scam of PTO. I don't see sabbatical as the same. Like, I do think companies that offer it want you to take it.
Right. So I view it a little differently, just like you do, because if you've earned it, it means that you're a loyal employee and you've been there for many, many years. And I think what you really need to do, though, is just be reasonable about when you take it and work. I mean, people are busy. Of course, there's probably never a good time to take it, but try and find a time that works best for the company and for you.
Is less terrible.
Right. And don't put it off too far.
I am seeing only 4 to 6% of U.S. employees currently offer paid sabbatical. It's just kind of sad.
Yeah, it's tough. And for some businesses, it's really tough to accommodate. With trends on average, job length, employees just aren't working at one company for that long anymore, whether it's 10 years or 5 years.
That's going to change with Gen Z. I think Gen Z, it seems like they are more going to want to find a place and make it theirs. Like, they seem a little bit more wanting to settle in than millennials and Gen X. We were kind of like, we're not our parents. Go, 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 go.
They want to. Whether the companies want them to is a different story. I mean, a lot of companies would prefer that employees don't stay for that long and cycle out.
But that's for white collar information workers. I would say that's not the norm. What would you say? Like, people want you to stay and have, institutional memory. Usually, don't they?
Yeah, but I think that there are less companies like that than there were, let's say, 5-10 years ago. I mean, it's just as AI is emerging and playing a different role, and people go into middle management and then there's nothing to do with them, and then boomers are still refusing to leave.
I have always kind of taken it like as a universal truth that companies hope employees stick around so the money that they invest in them amortizes and pays off. And you're saying that is not the case as much anymore.
I'm just saying there are definitely companies who hope for that, and there are definitely companies who don't. And I think the ones who don't the numbers are
What's a
increasing.
new one that you think doesn't or has made noises about not?
In terms of an industry,
Or like an industry or company that like we're hearing more now is not prizing longevity as much.
I mean, if you look at the major tech companies, I mean, take Amazon, for instance. I mean, they cut 10% of their workforce every year, and they're very open about it. And they're very open about, how AI is going to take over jobs. And look, those kind of statements from a CEO about how AI is going to replace part of the workforce, that's not just about AI. That's a, hey, if you're thinking about leaving, maybe you should type of statement. And that's not designed to, you know, cultivate long careers. Now, for some people, they will want that, but you also have to look at compensation packages and pensions. I mean, for instance, companies don't have pensions anymore. Those were tools to keep people for a long time. They don't exist
Yeah.
basically anymore, with very few exceptions. So companies are open to turnover. Of course, they will take steps to retain people who they value, and sabbaticals are one way to do that.
Well, cliffs, I mean, as you, I'm sure, remember, one of my tech company jobs had a 3-year cliff, which meant you did not vest at all until 3 years there.
It's absurd. I would never let one of my clients accept a 3-year cliff. Like, that is just
I accepted a
ridiculous.
3-year cliff
Right.
for me several
Never,
years ago.
never.
And I didn't make it the whole time, obviously. Yeah. Sometimes you have to leave money on the table.
Hey, look, I mean, not everybody has the luxury of doing that, but if you do and you have another opportunity, I mean, maybe there's a way to make it up with your new company. That's something we talk about a lot with clients as well.
Meaning if you get an offer, but you are still like in a vesting cycle at your current company, sometimes a new company to woo you will make you whole on it.
Right. So a term that I often negotiate on behalf of clients is if they're leaving behind stock or other types of equity that hasn't vested yet, or deferred compensation, for instance.
Hmm.
The new employer, a point of negotiation with them is, well, will you essentially accept a transfer of this deferred compensation or equity and match it? And look, you have to have a lot of leverage and bargaining power to ask
Yeah.
for that. And,
But you
I
get
work,
that? I mean, you also have to have a very good lawyer, obviously,
you
which
have
you
to
are.
have a great lawyer on your side who's going to flag this issue for you. And you have to, I'm talking about mostly with highly compensated
Yeah.
individuals in executive positions who are my client base. And you talk about, are you going to match these provisions? And often companies will, and they will match them with the same terms. So if you had 3 years left on your vesting, they'll structure a replacement that has 3 years left in your vesting at the new place.
Okay. That's
But
interesting. That's a good thing to keep in mind always, that there's always options.
yes, yes. And it's important to test these things out when you're looking to move,
Hmm.
and before you accept an offer and before you leave your job. I mean, these are conversations you can have and test these things out.
All right. So speaking of looking for new jobs, how do you have a resume, Peter?
Do I have a I'm sorry,
You have a current resume,
do
CV.
I?
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
How many pages is it?
Well, mine is a very old school one-page resume,
But
which we've learned this week is now outdated.
how many companies have you worked at though?
I've worked at 2 companies,
Yeah.
and this is now my third. So, and I don't really intend on going anywhere, but it's important to always have a resume
Yeah,
updated and ready
but
to
I'm
go.
saying, so mine is a tight 2, and I fight hard to keep it to 2 pages. And I have worked at least 10 companies, I would say, since college. I feel strongly about keeping it to 2. Like, I think if it goes past that, you just seem absurd. But we're reading now that it's different for AI in the world of AI, where AI bots are the first resume colors in most situations.
Right. A resume is still very important, as much as it's also very important to maintain your LinkedIn page and have that be very up to date, because recruiters are constantly
So when
mining
I'm
those
hiring,
pages.
I'm looking at that more than the resume, but
Right.
yes.
Right. But the new reality is that companies are using AI for these first reads of resumes. And what do you need to incorporate into your resume to make it attractive to these AI readers? And one of the things that's always been important, even before AI was a real issue, my advice was always, look, make sure your resume includes some of the things they're looking for in the job description. Like you should always have a resume tailored for a specific job.
And using the specific words, like
Exactly.
don't be clever. This isn't a time to be clever and use all different words. Use the same words because that's what the bots are looking for.
Exactly. So now, these AI readers now are, they don't care if a resume is 1 page or 15 pages. Now it shouldn't be 15 pages, but it doesn't have to be 1 page. And there's recruiting experts are now saying there's room for it to be longer than 1 page because you really do need to incorporate these key terms that are going to be attractive to the AI bots that are programmed to look for these words.
I would say no more than a page, a decade of working.
Oh, that's good advice.
A round advice I would give. Like if you're in your 20s, keep it to 1 page, kids. Somewhere around these, you can go to 2 pages. I guess these 50s, now you could do 3, but I think a good rule of thumb is how many decades have you been working? That's how many pages your resume should be.
Yes. And you should also be mindful of the fact that if you make it past the AI, humans will be looking at it. So don't send something in that's crazy. So 2, 3 pages, that's fine.
So do you think like if you're a 25-year-old with a 4-page resume, you just look silly in my book?
You should not have a 4-page resume at 25. That's for sure.
Like no one cares about whatever you did.
I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be not good.
Not good. I just recently added a headline to my resume, like a line to describe like who I am, what I do before going into the experience. And I have been told that also in the age of AI is a good thing. Like having kind of headlines.
Summary.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And of course, like if you're going to have a longer resume, it should include relevant experience, relevant terms.
And things you
not just
actually
fluff.
accomplished. Always think how you can make your resume, not just like I did this stuff, but like I did this stuff and this happened. Like I ran social media and our engagement went up 30%. Not just I ran social media. The more you can say I did this and here's the good thing that happened, the more powerful your resume will be. And I've hired a goodillion people at this point. So most of them wonderful.
Well, I hope people are listening to you. They should.
I will tell you another thing. My favorite thing to look for 25 and under roles or entry level. Have you ever been paid to do something you didn't want to do? Like, have you only been paid to like have a fancy internship or, be a TA of a class? Have you ever bust dishes? Have you ever been a camp counselor? Or just had a job that involved things where you didn't want to do it, but you were being paid, so you did it. Because I think that is missing in a lot of Gen Z.
So you're looking for some grit and some determination and some
just how even if you don't feel like doing something I ask you to do, you're going to do it because it's your job.
Less entitlement, more roll your sleeves up and make some cash.
What's our favorite line from Mad Men? That's what the money is for.
Yeah. Well, I just watched Jerry Maguire, so I'm sort of hung up on show me the money.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
You complete me. Such a good movie. It totally holds up, don't you think?
100%. 100%.
And Kelly Preston, R.I.P., so freaking funny in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, that movie is amazing.
So good.
I wonder if the Coldplay CEO was whispering, you complete me to his head of HR at the concert.
All right, we're back there. Okay, so for anyone who is unaware, the CEO of a company named Astronomer
company no one's ever heard of until this week,
snuggling with an attractive woman at the Coldplay concert 2 nights ago, and suddenly they were on the Jumbotron snuggling, and when they saw themselves on screen, went and ran out of camera and ducked, and it became clear he was the CEO, she was the head of HR. And when Chris Martin said, are those people really shy, or are they having an affair? And then it turned out they were having an affair. And it seemed like there were co-workers with them in the box.
At least one.
Another piece of it. And she was his head of HR, which really is the icing on the cake of this story.
Yeah, I mean, this story is incredible. It's come at us from so many different directions in our networks and from listeners and viewers in particular. First of all, I have some really firm rules on workplace relationships, but I can tell you this broke my major rule, which is CEOs should never be in a relationship with anybody in their company.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
And
It's
guess what?
just a sad thing that happens to you when you become CEO. Just
And
say,
guess
like, okay, I can't fuck around anymore.
exactly. And
If you were
guess
fuck.
what? The head of HR should not be doing that either. so, so that's one rule. And then to be together and be in a public place and putting
With
aside that
other
they're both
coworkers,
married,
from
you
what I
know,
could tell,
yeah,
right?
it's crazy. It's a crazy story. It's
So I think they'll be fine though, long term, career wise. What do you think?
I mean, to the extent he wants to go found another company and hire her as his head of HR, they'll be fine. I think she's going to have more of a problem than him, frankly.
Well, women always have more of a problem. Men
Well,
get slapped on the back, and women get like
well, it's not just that. I mean, she's the head of HR. I mean, if, to the extent she wants to be a head of HR somewhere, this is a terrible lapse in judgment. And
real do
I
as I
don't think
say,
anyone's going
not
to
as
look
I
past it.
do kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, how could she be credible with employees going forward? So she
I
might
don't
have to pivot.
know. I don't know. I think it's she could like be like, I know better than anybody. The downside of not taking her all seriously. I think you can always pivot. I think you can always have a redemption story. And I think in Silicon Valley, people love guys who get in trouble for this kind of thing, don't they?
Well, there's a very limited, I mean, you're talking about a very limited set of people. Look, I mean, the important steps are going to be in the next few days. We'll see them like, are they going to apologize? Are they going to
Well, they
acknowledge?
someone put out a false statement from the CEO yesterday that was
Yeah, I
going
saw
all
that
around social media that
with the
everybody was like,
Coldplay quote, like,
yeah,
was ridiculous.
everybody was thought it was real, and then you look at the name of the reporter and it's P. Ennis. You know, it wasn't real. But I was on several group chats where
As
it
I
came.
said, everyone was interested, even pianists.
What?
As I said, everyone was interested, even pianists was
You know, but it was like some. In some ways, I feel bad for everyone personally involved, but otherwise, some good, clean fun for the summer. Like the internet
yeah.
had fun yesterday.
I mean,
It's nice to
obviously,
remember when the internet can be fun, not just horrid and toxic. You know?
yeah, look, I mean, obviously terrible for the families involved, but
Mhm.
these are two adults, hopefully they'll accept the blame and apologize to everyone affected by this
Yeah.
and move on.
Yeah. And it's Friday, and you have me recording this because you are such a hard taskmaster. But 4-day work weeks are finally getting the attention they deserve. They're much more
What
popular
does that mean?
in Europe, obviously.
Oh, you mean like, yeah, sure. Okay.
4-day work weeks. I have a really hard time. Listen, I think the whole world of work is going to change significantly in the next 5 years. And any predictions we make right now for what it's going to look like is a little kind of looking through a glass darkly because we have no idea how the workplace is going to change. So maybe if human labor is no longer super necessary, 4-day work weeks will be a thing because what are you going to do in 5 days? In the current scheme of things, it feels like employers are going the opposite direction. They're all come into the office, not do a 4-day work week.
Right. We'll see how open-minded and who the leaders are is also going to be really important. As we've seen with this whole return to office debacle.
No one is. Did you see those articles? Like for all of the companies that have gone back to it, most employees are finding ways to ignore it.
Right. I mean, I talk to clients about this all the time. Even this week, I was at dinner with some friends who have to go to an office, and they're like, no one comes. They no matter what the policy is, and there's been articles, and people still aren't coming and flouting these rules, and companies aren't firing people for it. And that's why this story still goes on, and why CEOs still talk about it. It's because people aren't complying.
Because no
And
one wants to have to come into the office every day. It's outdated and stupid.
well, let's say that there are definitely some people who love the
For most
office.
jobs, for information, white collar jobs. Obviously, if you are a baker, you got to bake every day.
I
Bakers
think
going
that
to bake.
yeah, and there are people I know people who love going into the office and will go in every day no matter what. And
Mhm.
actually, in a lot of offices, the people who are coming in the most are the youngest
Yes.
employees
But they
who
should.
want
They're the ones who have something to really gain from being in the office.
yeah, sure. They want to make an impression. They want to get out of their smaller apartments and houses. They want to be social. The real problem is with people who have families and who are older, who have commutes, and I think the overall problem that employees have with these return to office mandates is they're just this universal
Yeah.
attempt to legislate everybody without taking into account different jobs, different circumstances. I mean, let's be honest here. There are some jobs that don't need to be done in the office, period.
There's some, when I've had jobs where I was running marketing or brand at a company, there was a lot of work that had to be in the office. So I would say 2 days of work a week in the office. But there was also days where like I was either A, had to be head down writing something, or B, had to make like 20 outreach calls. No one needed to hear that. It's much easier to do that from home. Like if you're making tons of calls over the course of a day, because it's not like you have your own office. It's not like it's easy to find places to have privacy often now in the workplace, which is another piece of it.
Right. I mean, if you really want to win with your return to office policy, you need to take into consideration different jobs and different circumstances. And that is, yes, that is more work for
Give
managers.
people places to put things. There
Right.
is, as a woman, when
Well,
you have
that
an
too.
office, when it's, hoteling, so you like don't have the same desk every day and you can't leave stuff there.
Yeah, that too. That needs to be
We
considered.
were.
But
There was like no place to leave anything overnight.
right. But the unfortunate thing is most employers don't want to put that work in. They
Right.
just want to make the rule and have everyone follow it. And now people aren't following it or still not following it, and it's frustrating to them. Well, the answer is put in some work, figure out a way to make some accommodations and be thoughtful about what your employees actually want. I mean, that I've always said since the beginning of the pandemic and moving forward, you can't just make a rule for your workers based on someone else's rule or some other company or some article you read. You really need to talk to your employees. You need to understand what's important to them, what their needs are, what would make them come in, and then make rules around that. And they could be different rules for different departments.
That is very reasonable, but I have not seen it played out. Like a
Exactly.
place I worked, a nonprofit I worked at, absolutely no one wanted to come in other than the CEO. And she was just like, I like an office where people come in. And so everybody's coming in multiple days a week. And it's not conducive because most people are crabby about it. But do you think so? Just to bring it back to something you've been talking about, you've been saying that you think we are going to see a whole new sort of level and round of employee activism. Do you think that is going to claw back at the same time as that, we've been seeing so many people like Jamie Dimon and others being like, come into the office every day. But is the employee activism going to kind of claw that back at some point, do you think?
I think so. I think it's going to be a continued tension. And by the way,
It's not a done story at this point.
AI continues to develop and people could do jobs more efficiently, and this is where we started on this topic, there will be real discussions about 4-day work weeks because in theory, if you could get your job done more efficiently, then maybe you don't need that fifth day. And maybe the trade-off of the fifth day as a total day off makes people more willing to come in the other 4 days. Who knows? So let's see where it goes.
That's a good point.
But it requires open-minded leadership, which this generation of leaders, the older generations, don't really show a lot of interest
Shout
in.
out to Amanda Littman's new book, When We're in Charge. She is the founder of Run for Something, and she wrote a book about how millennials should think about being bosses as they go into those roles. Highly recommend. We should have her on. She'd be a good guest.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. We're talking about guests, so we
Yeah.
welcome any suggestions on who we
Yeah.
should have on.
Who wants to come on talk to us?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll
It's
be
almost
nice.
noon.
We'll
Yeah.
be really nice.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I guess it's almost noon on a Friday. I'm ending my work.
Rosé time.
Yes. Ending the work week. So have a great weekend. And
What we got to do heroes and zeros.
Oh my gosh, heroes and zeros. Okay.
You can't be done yet.
You're right. Who's your hero?
So my hero for this week is Crypto, the dog in Superman. Incredible role in the movie. Very fun movie, by the way. And if you can't enjoy Superman because you're too tied up in politics or whatever, like stop taking yourself so seriously. It's a fun movie.
Finally seeing it on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Go enjoy it.
Superman's my favorite superhero.
But Crypto not only is a heroic dog, he's encouraged a spike in searches for dog adoption and over 500% searches for dog adoption. So I think that's really cool.
That is really cool. All
Go
right.
Crypto. Who's your hero?
I never thought I would say go crypto.
Who's your hero?
Hero for the week. I just finished reading this Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It is a love story about astronauts and takes place in the 80s when there was still so much hope and excitement around, the Apollo programs and pre-Challenger. And I loved this I love summer reads, loved this novel by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Atmosphere. And it's really nice to escape some of the realities of the current moment in time with a novel that's romantic and has joy in it. So that is my hero. What's your
Summer's a
zero?
great time for reading. Definitely
Yeah.
encourage that. So my zero for the week is, it changed last night. Originally, it was going to be whoever the moron is who hacked Elmo's Twitter account. I mean, give me a break. But it switched to CBS for canceling The Late
Yeah.
Show with Stephen Colbert under cloudy reasoning of finances, but does coincidentally came a week after settling a case with the president. Boo, CBS.
So
Might
dark.
as well just light that place on fire with their decisions.
I mean, boo is right. I was going to actually say something about the pulling of funding from PBS and NPR. So I guess both of us, our zero is the deleterious effect this administration is having on media that disagrees with them. That's real banana republic shit, people.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a good look.
Can't continue.
No, it's really bad. You don't want a media that kowtows to those in power. Even if you currently like the people in power, I swear it's not a good thing.
Yeah. And kudos to the Wall Street Journal and Emma Tucker, the editor, for publishing the Epstein story last night, despite threats from the president that he was going to, quote, sue their asses off.
Here's what I don't understand.
Classy.
As a New Yorker who has followed this story the whole time, don't we know who was involved with Jeffrey Epstein? I don't understand.
We're going to have we could have a whole podcast on this.
Like, don't we already know? What are we trying to find out? All right. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. On that note,
no comment.
Ghislaine Maxwell, come on our show. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. We could have, she'd be a great guest.
She'd be a great guest. I mean, Trump wishes her well.
Yeah.
Right? Sex trafficking. Icky. Okay.
All right.
And again, thank you so much to Maria Quinshaw for our gorgeous new logo. And thank you to Sadie Raybar for helping us edit every week. And for later. Bye.
Take care.